Is the talk show hell hates. This is Pastor Mike Online.
And here we are, coming to you live from our top secret broadcasting compound high atop Bethel Church. This is Pastor Mike, and I'm online and live with you with the talk show that aliens all over the universe hate, and hell hates it too. And the more you listen, the more they listen, and they're listening. They're listening. You can guarantee it. I remember I got a phone call. Oh, this would have been years ago, in the early days of the Watchman video broadcast, from a lady, and she was sweet. She was very sincere, and we started talking about something related to the New World Order or Freemasonry or something like that. And she said, you know, I've got a lot that I want to say to you, Pastor Mike, but I think they're listening in. And I mean, I didn't make fun of her. I said, you know, that could well be true. I said, but you know what? You know, when God tells us, when Jesus tells us, that which I speak into your ear, proclaim from the housetop, the rooftop, what he's saying is, we don't keep secrets just because we think the devil's going to hear us. Of course he hears us. And if there are things that I thought, man, I can't let anybody find out about this, then I don't tell anybody, especially with a cell phone in my pocket. But yeah, it doesn't matter if the devil's listening. It doesn't matter if the New World Order people, the Illuminati, doesn't matter if they're all listening in. And I told the lady, I said, ma'am, I said, one thing that I just won't be is I won't live in fear all the time that something I might say on the phone or on the internet, you know, might get somebody's, radar going off, and maybe we need to check into this Mike Hoggard guy. We think he's a threat to our New World Order plans. So anyway, but good to be with you today. The last broadcast of 2025. Oh, no. Let's see. Yeah, I know. It's going to be a bummer. But, you know, we can still have some fun today. By the way, the hat, Sweetie Pie got that for me. I love it. Team Hoggard is who I am. And those of you can join Team Hoggard. The only thing that's going to cost you is a King James Bible. All right? Where was I going to start today? I've got a couple things that I was going to share with you, and I done forgot one of them. But I'll get right into it. Let me find the PowerPoint that I want. PowerPoint, and I've got, let's see, do that, open a new window. Let's see here. There we go, right here. Oh, yeah, you're going to like this. You're going to like this. I was scrolling through the park one day. I was looking at some videos on Instagram that are, sometimes I'll have in my feed UFOs, some pretty good video of UFOs. But they're just good enough to where you can tell what they are and to give some clarity to it, but not so perfect as to make you think, well, this is AI here. And people, I'll tell you, there are people right now who are basically just breaking the mold of what you can do to get YouTube clicks on your channel. They have bought into some of these companies that offer different tools to make videos with, and they don't tell you on the, and I think YouTube ought to change, or I think YouTube ought to change how videos are listed, because once you watch this video and you really start thinking about it, you go back and look at it again, and I almost promise you there's going to be some little something in there that's going to tell you that it's AI generated. For instance, I was looking the other day, and there was this video that came up, and it showed what looked like a three-headed dove, walking around on the ground. And I thought, wow, look at that, and because I know that in nature, there are times, even in human beings, there was these twin girls, and now they're all adults now, but these two twin girls were just two heads on one body. It was really neat. Weird, but neat. And they're married, by the way. That's got to be weird. But anyway, it happens in humans. It happens in animals that sometimes, instead of it being like twins, they're joined together. And so I was thinking that. But then right after it, there was a video of a three-headed goat. And there was a video of a four-headed dog. And I'm like, okay, enough is enough. This is AI. And then I watched a video where, let's see, what was it? This, let's see, it was a bear and its cub, and a tiger came and grabbed the cub. And no, it wasn't a bear. It was gorillas. It was a gorilla and her little son, gorilla, and a tiger came and got the baby gorilla in its mouth, and the mama gorilla turned around and smacked that tiger right in the mouth, and it looks like that the mama gorilla got the baby gorilla in her arms and turned around and walked off, but then the baby gorilla's sitting there on the ground, right where it was. And I had to watch it 3 or 4 times, and I finally realized that it was AI generated because it had made a mistake. It showed briefly the baby gorilla in her arms coming out of the tiger's mouth, but then there's the baby gorilla right there on the ground. And I'm going, okay, that's AI. And then I started seeing more and more videos just like that, where it looks like somebody's experimenting around. Okay, let's have a mama gorilla and a baby gorilla. Okay, now let's have a tiger attack them. Okay, now we're going to have some lions attack. Okay, now we're going to have zebras coming by or whatever. They're just experimenting with videos, putting them on Instagram, putting them on YouTube. People are clicking them like, wow, this is really cool, and it's fake. It's phony. It's ridiculous. So I think there ought to be a label, mandatory label, if that video was created by artificial intelligence, because it looks real. And I was thinking about it today, that it was only a year and a half ago that we were having AI make us pictures of like people and different things like that. And one thing you notice is that they never got the eyes right. The eyes were always weird looking things, not even eyes, like half circles, and they were sticking out too far. They weren't lined up. And then if you had some kind of writing that you wanted on that picture, it couldn't write it. It didn't know its letters last year. Okay? But this year it knows its letters. It's learned in the last year and a half how to put the eyes on something correctly, how not to make mistakes as far as fluid movement goes, how to put the eyes back, how to dot the I's and cross the T's, how to put the letters in the right place, and so on. So now they've accomplished that task. What's left? Well, probably a lot of things that, we are trained as human beings. We're trained to see things a certain way, and we know that something is off, even if it's just off by a little bit. Like when you look at Oprah Winfrey, okay? When she was young and breaking into television, nobody wanted to give her her own show in front of a camera. Because why? Tell me why. Tell me why. No, it's because her eyes were too far apart. You ever notice that about Oprah? Yeah. And there are some people like that. Their eyes are just like maybe a quarter of an inch off center or something like that. And you're just going, oh, it looks kind of weird. But anyway, yeah. So it does happen. But we're noticing that some of these videos are just off a little bit. And so by this time next year, as we roll in from 2026 to 2027, how much more intricate and professional and perfect videos, audio, pictures, probably 3D scenes and so on. We won't be able to tell the difference between that and AI generated. And it's going to cause a lot of problems. See, we'll already have a lot of people who do nothing but sit around and watch like the Charlie Kirk shooting over and over and over and over again and come up with all these wild ideas that Charlie Kirk's really not dead, or he is dead, but he wasn't shot in the neck, or it just made it look like he was shot in the neck. That's actually his microphone, and there was the guy behind him shot him. No, it was some guy in front of him, and on and on. And they're doing this off just video views of watching the shooting. They weren't there. They didn't see the autopsy of his body. They weren't in the ER working on him to verify whether or not he had a big hole right here in his neck where his blood would just shoot out instantly and he'd be dead. They weren't there. And yet they see some kind of what they say is a discrepancy in the video, and they're saying, if he really was shot in the neck, it would not have looked like this. You know what? You can't use that in court. You can't say, well, Your Honor, if they would have walked to the left instead of to the right, I know then that they would have seen so-and-so over here. You can't do that. You can't guess what somebody in their mind is going to think. You can't do that. And they won't accept it in court. So, anyway. It's just getting to the point now to where now that we have AI generated videos and you can generate a celebrity, you can generate their voice to go along with their image. And you'll be thinking then that some actor said this or some politician said this. Look, I got a video of it right here. AI is right at the point to where they can do that now and probably not get discovered doing it, faking a video, as it were. And so we definitely live in a day where deception is literally all around us, everywhere. There's deceptions in our government, deceptions among friends, co-workers. People are deceivers. Churches. You have preachers that deceive people. You have church people that deceive people. Hypocrites, they're called. And that's what you have. And with all this deception everywhere, it is going to become more and more difficult for people to know what the truth really is. And so if we don't have this book, this authorized Bible, we will be led astray. God is going to send not a silly lie or delusion. God's going to send a great one. He's going to send a great big lie to this world, and everybody is going to fall for it. Guaranteed they are. So, now, I want us to start reading. We're going to read something in Matthew 24, and put my Hoggard hat there. Matthew 24 is where I want to start today. These thoughts have been coming back to me just in the last few days, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to study that out and chase it down and see what happens, see what we get out of it. Because I've been telling everybody that different authors like John Mack, and I'm trying to remember some of the others, those who have written about UFOs, gray aliens, or even tall white aliens, and their program of taking people, male and female, and taking them up to their ship in some kind of big laboratory and work on them and poke things in their legs and stick them in their arms, stick stuff in their eyeball, and they don't care how much you hurt. And then invariably they're going to take an egg from a woman and seed from the man. And the aliens always tell the humans who are like, "Why are you doing this?" "Oh, we're going to make babies. That's what we're going to do. We've got a hybrid program going here. And so we're going to mingle ourselves with mankind's DNA. And that's going to let us live." And I actually have some quotes that I'm going to read to you here in a little bit from John Mack's book called Abduction. And you'll read where some of the aliens tell these people what their plan is. Now, rule number one, if I'm right, and all of these aliens are strange spirits that are mentioned in the Bible, and by saying that, I'm saying devils, principalities, powers, rulers of the darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in high places. I'm referring to devils, demons, some people call them. A lot of people call them demons nowadays. So if you hear me say demon, don't lose your lunch, okay? I've not turned over to the New World Order because I said demon. But most people understand what you're talking about when you say demon. So, but all things about devils and demons, they're called evil angels in the Bible, gods with a little g, and so on. If I'm right that these aliens are in fact devils or demons or evil angels, you can't trust a thing that comes out of their mouth. You can't. There are people in the UFO movement that are, high up. They're the ones that are producing these documentaries. They're the ones that are getting the big interviews. People like, I won't be able to remember anybody now. John Mack, David Grush. He is the sort of whistleblower to Congress. Jeremy Corbell, the movie maker, the filmmaker. George, oh my goodness, what a day to forget everybody's name. George Knapp from Las Vegas. And, these guys, they're always in a documentary. Luis Elizondo, they're all in these films and documentaries and so on, talking about what they think they know about aliens and about UFOs. And it's kind of, to me, it's a little bit entertaining to hear them talk because they sound like they really know what they're talking about. It sounds like they really know what they're up against, and they understand the agenda. And with some people, like with Stephen Greer, the ER doctor, who is basically channeling devils. But he refers to them as the angels or the aliens. But he's literally channeling familiar spirits. And they have convinced him that they're here for purely beneficial purposes, to do things that's going to benefit mankind. And Stephen, tell you earthlings, don't believe the stories about how we supposedly appear in people's rooms at night and steal them out of their beds and take them up into a spaceship and perform really painful things to them and then put them back in their bed with their underwear on backwards, and their clothes on inside out or whatever. Just, tell everybody that those things are not true, that they don't really happen. And so Greer honestly believes that the government hires little people to put on these suits and show up at people's houses in the middle of the night. Who's going to do that? You get yourself killed. But he believes that. So just because these quote unquote aliens say things, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're telling the truth. Now, so here's what I was thinking. In Matthew 24, we'll pick it up. You know what? I just feel like just being a blessing to you. I'm going to put the verse up on the screen here. Let's see here. No. Yep, there we go. Matthew 24. Jesus said, "Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many." See that? Many shall come in my name. He didn't say many what. He just said, many shall come in my name, and shall deceive many. So, let's just say that the many that shall come in his name are the aliens, the evil angels, demons. That's absolutely 100% going to happen. They are going to deceive billions of people. Lots of them. They're going to deceive them. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. All of these seemingly happening like all at once. There's famines all over the world. There are pestilences, diseases, and so on, and earthquakes everywhere. He said in verse 11, many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. Yeah. You know what? I had a rabbit to chase here. I rewatched the video. I mentioned this last week by Representative Tim Burchett. I don't know how to spell it. It's Burchett. But he's a congressman from Tennessee. And I like the guy. I really do. I think he's on the right side of a lot of issues. But anyway, he has had close contact with some high-ups in the Pentagon, and they have been talking about these these secret bases. Some of them are underwater, way out in the Pacific Ocean. And somebody had made a comment that if you remember this submersible vessel that these people hired to take them down to the Titanic wreckage, and how when they got most of the way down there, all of a sudden the thing just crushed them instantly. I mean, they died quicker than they could realize what had happened. Now, that would be okay with me as far as dying that way. But anyway, the idea was if there are underwater bases on the ocean floor anywhere, humans don't have the technology to do that. How in the world would you go about building some kind of secret underwater base? But we see, or they have seen, a lot of UFOs go down into the water and disappear, never come back up again. So Representative Brickett was talking to this gentleman that had come in his office, and as the man was leaving, he turned around and looked at Tim, and he said, yes, they are real. About 4 or 5 of them that he knew of. And he said, they are real, Tim. They are real. So you have somebody, a member of Congress, who wouldn't lie about something as silly as supposedly aliens on the ocean floor. He's telling the truth. He's telling what he knows. So, and then there are other places where people believe that there are underground bases. They think that maybe at Skinwalker Ranch, there are those there. There's an underground base there somewhere. Because they keep hearing these noises coming up from the ground. They don't know what it sounds. They said it sounds like machinery or something like that, and it's coming up from the ground. Let's see here. What else? Oh, there was. I should have came prepared for this one because I just had the thought about an hour ago. Where is it? The guy lost a bunch of fingers because he was working in an underground base, and he went down into an area that they were told not to go in, and all of a sudden these aliens start firing on him, and next thing you know, he's got guys that are coming down where he is and firing back, and he said there was like a little battle going, there was like a war going on, way underneath the surface of the earth. Now, some people would immediately say, listen, I'm not going to listen to that stuff. That's made up. There's no way in the world that could ever happen. There is no such thing as that. Well, now hang on a second. Hang on. Hold yourself still. Hold yourself still. How about, where do I turn here? No, not second. How about first? Yeah. Let's see here. It's 2 Samuel. I want 1 Samuel. David. Samuel. Yeah, Samuel. Here we go. Samuel died. And we've got to get to old Saul here. Saul, I can't find it. Let me find it. The woman at Endor is what I'm thinking of. Endor. 1 Samuel 28. See, I told you 1 Samuel. Behold, there's a woman that hath a familiar spirit at Endor. So you know this story. When Saul goes to this gal, says, bring me up the man that I tell you to bring up by the familiar spirit. So she says, okay, who is it? He said, just bring up Samuel. So she wiggles her nose and puts a little of this and that in a pot and stirs it all up and drinks it and dumps it on the ground. I'm just making all that stuff up. She's doing witchcraft. All of a sudden now, she sees something that makes her freak out. And King Saul said, what did you see? She says here, I saw gods ascending out of the earth. Dun, dun, dun. Also, God's ascending out of the earth. Revelation. Oh, here, I'll just do it here. Revelation chapter 13 is a match to that. What you just saw in 1 Samuel 28 was a foreshadow of the prophecy given in Revelation 13. And by the way, as a Sunday night, just 2 days ago, I did a teaching on why and how you use typology in your study. Because God says to, okay? All these things, Paul said, are given to us as an example or in samples. He uses that term. The Greek word tupos, which means type. And so Isaac is a type of Christ. David is a type of Christ. Did you know that King David, was the 33rd man in the lineage of Jesus Christ, starting from Adam? 33. I'll go ahead and say it now. I have started on a new book. It's been years since I've written something. But this one just came to me not too long ago. And I got to thinking about it. I thought, that would make just that one number would make an outstanding book, because I've got tons of information of how that number keeps showing up. It keeps showing up over and over and over again. And I'm talking about, I didn't pass by the checkout counter and I saw that something was labeled 33 cents. Ooh, no. I'll give you an example. And I'm chasing another rabbit here, so hang with me. I believe that it's very, very possible. I can't say absolutely it is, but I'm saying it's very possible that Jeffrey Epstein was a Mossad agent working for the Israeli Secret Service. We know that Ghislaine Maxwell's father was a Mossad agent. And there is an assumption that Ghislaine Maxwell followed in her father's footsteps. So now you have Jeffrey Epstein, who went from being an unemployed math teacher to having a net worth of over $500 million. That's no small change, people. And he started out, Les Wexner, is that his name? He started out basically being the financial manager for this Victoria's Secret guy, the guy that owns the company. Multi-millionaire, maybe a billionaire, but Jeffrey Epstein's got access to all of his money. And all of a sudden now, he's building up a nice little bank account. But I think that Epstein's role was to get high-ranking people in the United States, congressmen, senators, judges, presidents, business leaders, bankers, Hollywood elite, Hollywood actors and actresses, all over the place. People like Bill Gates, people like, maybe Diddy. I mean, who knows? But all these people now, they go to Epstein Island because Epstein likes the young ladies. I'll say it that way. And if you remember, he got arrested while he was in Florida. And you would think that if this guy, and by then he was already very well connected. I mean, connected with powerful people. That literally all he had to do was make a phone call to somebody and say, the police are here to arrest me. I want you to make some phone calls and make this go away. He certainly could have done it then. But I think that some powerful people decided that he had too much power over them. So I think that they allowed him to be arrested. The judge that sentenced him basically gave him a free bed and breakfast for like 3 or 4 years. It was down in Florida, and all he had to do, he had the whole wing of this jail to himself. No other prisoners in this section of the jail. None. And they put him there, and he had to stay there from evening until morning. In the morning, he would get up, go out. His limousine was there, parked, or his SUV. His ride, they would pick him up because he got out a work release. He said, I got to be able to do my work. What kind of work does he do? What work does he do? So they let him out in the morning. He'd spend all day doing whatever he wanted to do. And at night, by bedtime, he had to be in his cell in bed. And that was it. But he had to do it. I think he probably made somebody mad. And those people were saying, you've got too much power. Let me show you what we can do. And then I think he did it again. I think he probably provoked somebody. And they arrested him. And here's what I'm getting to. Not from the day that he was arrested, but from the day that he was first charged with the crimes that he was charged with. From that day to his death was 33 days exactly. That means something. It does. And I'm in the course of putting all this together. I hope I come across more that sheds light on how this number keeps showing up everywhere. But anyway, meanwhile, back at the ranch. Back to these underground bases. You've got Saul, speaking with this familiar spirit of Samuel, God's coming up out of the earth. Here in Revelation 13, you have another beast that came up out of the earth as well. This beast is the false prophet. Now that to me matches the story in 1 Samuel 28, because this familiar spirit was a lying spirit. And it told Saul such and such, and Saul believed it, and so on. And now some would look at that story and say, well, I mean, he said it. What he said was true. What he said was absolutely true, because all that happened the next day. But there's a flaw in what he said. Let me put this up on the screen too. 1 Samuel 28. There we go. Now, I'll show you something here. Here we go. Okay, let's see. Verse 18. Because thou obeyest not the voice of the Lord, nor executest his fierce wrath upon Amalek, therefore hath the Lord done this thing unto thee this day. Moreover, the Lord will also deliver Israel with thee into the hand of the Philistines, and tomorrow shalt thou and thy sons be with me. The Lord also shall deliver the host of Israel into the hand of the Philistines. Now, this phrase, and thy sons be with me, meaning dead. Okay? But not all of his sons were killed the next day. I don't remember how many were and how many weren't. I think there was 2 that weren't killed. I may be wrong on that, but at least one of them wasn't killed the next day. Went on to live a ways. So, I mean, God's word is perfect. It happens exactly the way he says it, but I think that was the flaw. I think that was the one thing wrong that this familiar spirit said. And Saul fell for it, literally. That was pretty good. He fell for it. Anyway, let me get back to this. So in Matthew, we have all these horrible things going on. Let's look at, let's see here. Yeah. Many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Then it says, there shall be arise false Christ and false prophets, and shall shew great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Be careful, people, what you believe. And then he said, the sun is going to be darkened, the moon is not going to give her light, and the stars are going to fall from heaven. The powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man. He's coming in the clouds. Don't forget that. Then if we were looking, let's look at Acts chapter 2. That talks about the day of the Lord. And he says, Peter preached the first sermon here. He says, verse 18, and on my servants and on my handmaidens I will pour out on those days of my spirit. They shall prophesy, and I will shew wonders in heaven above and signs in the earth beneath, blood and fire and vapor of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness, the moon into blood, before that great and notable day of the Lord come. So think about it. You've got all these earthquakes. You've got fire everywhere, stuff being burned up, people being killed. I mean, it's everywhere. So let's go to Revelation. I'm doing this for a reason, okay? In the book of Revelation, chapter 6, when the seals are being opened. The first one, the white horse, he had a bow and a crown was given unto him. He went forth conquering and to conquer. Remember, these are four horses. Principalities, powers, rulers of darkness, spiritual wickedness, high places. These are devils. Okay, these are principality spirits. The first one is going to be given the power to conquer everything. The second beast is red. He has the power to take peace from the earth. Man fighting man, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. The third beast, a black horse, had a pair of balances in his hand. I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts saying, a measure of wheat for a penny, 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Famine, pestilences, okay? And then the fourth seal, we have death, and hell followed with him. Power was given unto him over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword and with hunger and with death and the beasts of the earth. That's how God's going to do it in those days. I mean, it's going to be wild. All right? It'll be a noticeable cataclysm. I'll put it that way. Nobody who goes through that time will say, that's happened before. I remember when I was 18, we had days like this. Joel said in Joel chapter 1, you, your fathers, your grandfathers, and your great-grandfathers have never seen anything like this before, ever. It literally is going to be chaos everywhere. Then, Revelation chapter 8, the 7 trumpets. The first trumpet, and blood or hail and fire mingle with blood. What was the signs that Peter preached about? Blood and fire and vapors of smoke. So you have hail and fire mingled with blood. They were cast upon the earth. The second angel sounded, as it were, a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became blood. Who can drink that? You know, we can't drink that. Number one, you wouldn't want to. Number two, God said don't drink blood. I think God knows what he's talking about. And then, let's see, they had the great mountain, the ships are destroyed. Third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died. Charlie the tuna, dead. Okay, of an apparent suicide. Then there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of waters, and the name of the star is called wormwood. The third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, the third part of the moon, third part of the stars, so as the third part of them was darkened. By the way, this phrase, the third part, like the third part of the sun, what is 1/3 as a decimal? 33%. 33 out of 100. 1/3 of the moon, 33%. 1/3 of the stars, 33%. And so on. So you have all of this, famine. Half of the world is on fire. You got waters that are bitter, so bad bitter, nobody can drink them. People dying everywhere. And we're talking, let's do the math here, okay? Let's do some math. The first seal, let's see here. No, this not the first one. The 1/4, right? Power is given, and they should kill one another. Great sword, open the seal, black horse. Fourth seal. Okay. When the fourth seal is opened, power was given unto him over the fourth part of the earth. So let's do this, okay? Let's say that there's 8,300,000,000. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Hundreds, thousands, million, billion. Let's say that there's that many people on the earth right now. 8.3 billion people. Let's then divide that by 4. Okay? 2,075,000,000 people die as God is breaking loose these seals, and what they're holding back is allowed and released onto the earth. So imagine what the world would be like if, let's just say, the entire month of January, that during the month of January, that all of these things happen, and in a month's time, over 2 billion people died. What do you do with 2 billion dead carcasses? I mean, that's a lot. It's a very large amount. Okay? You'll have an increase in carnivorous beings, call it that. Animals that eat dead flesh. Okay? Is there another kind? In Leviticus 26, look, have you ever read that? You see what God said here. In verse 14, if you will not hearken unto me and will not do all these commandments, and if you shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that you will not do all my commandments, but that you break my covenant, I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you a terror, consumption, and the burning ague, which is, let's see here. What does Webster say? The cold fit which precedes a fever, or a paroxysm of fever in intermittence. Well, I'm glad we cleared that up, didn't we? It is accompanied with shivering, chilliness, and so on. It's like it's getting the chills from having the flu, or let's say you have strep. Oh, man, sickest I've ever been. Had strep, and I mean, I was sick, shaking, and everything like that. But these are going to happen. All these terrors and consumptions and fevers, it's going to consume people's eyes. It's going to, you're going to sow your seed in vain. Your enemy shall eat it. Let's see here. He says, he keeps on, if you walk contrary unto me, I'll bring 7 times more plagues. I'll send wild beasts among you, and which shall rob you of your children, and destroy your cattle, and make you few in number, and your highways shall be desolate. That's an apocalypse scene right there, isn't it? So all these movies, like World War Z and all these zombie movies, where all the cars are stuck on the highway, and vines are growing out of them and stuff like that, because that's how the end of the world's going to be. But that's what it looks like, okay? You're going to have wild beasts everywhere. They're going to steal your cattle and all your good, and your highways are going to be desolate. 2 billion people dead. You're going to have to come up with some way of dealing with those bodies, because they're going to stink and they're going to spread disease. Okay? So I think it'll overwhelm the system. Now, having said all that, let's do this first. Let me show you. Yeah, we're going to talk about John Mack's book. Let me show you some new videos I have. These have been downloaded from Instagram. These are all UFO sightings. I've taken the sound out of all of them because some of them had music on them, and YouTube will have a problem with me if I play somebody's music on here. Plus, anytime you see a UFO video, some guy's going, holy blankety blank, and that's all they say for 5 minutes. This one, a guy looked at it and said, that looks like a wheel within a wheel. I think he's right. I don't know where some of these were captured, but they are recent, except for the very last one that I have. It actually comes from the 90s. Tuktik. This one is really weird. Check this one out. Did you see Man of Steel? If you did, you remember when they're on Krypton at the beginning of the movie, and Russell Crowe and his wife, and every time they walk around in their house, they have one of these little owl-looking things that follow them around. Okay? That's what that reminds me of. Take a look at it up close. What in the world is that? I don't think that's CG or AI. Oh, this one. Oh, my goodness. Get ready. This is a UFO of some kind of aerial vehicle that's lit up like a Christmas tree, and you can actually see the inhabitants of this one behind these panes of glass or whatever it is. You can see them walking back and forth in there. It's creepy. And if you know your UFO videos, this is not the one that was taken in Turkey back about 20 years ago. Okay, this is more recent than that. They're gonna watch this. See it? Right there. Walking around in there. Maybe they're dancing. Maybe aliens dance when people are not looking. Okay, there it is, right there. That's freaky, people. That's freaky. All right, here. Come on. There we go. This was a short one, but look. Boom. Now, the guy who posted this, let me go back to it, said, you know, I would say that this maybe is a hoax, but it shows up on the screen of the guy's dash cam, which if you were faking something like this, not this here, but the one coming up, if you were going to fake something like that, all right, let me pause it. The only reason I believe it because of how it looks on the car screen. And that's what he's talking about here. Watch this. Play it again, Sam. I thought it played twice. Watch again. Zumba. It actually shows up in the camera here. This one, this was last year, I believe, down in Brazil. Some of the villagers in the Amazon jungle area, they were being attacked by these light beings. I mean, that's bum, bum, bum. I mean, think about it. Where's my... These are angels of light. Lucifer, get it? Light bearers, messengers of the light. What Paul said, that Satan is transformed into an angel of light. Okay? So, somebody took... I've been waiting for this one to come back around because I hadn't seen it in a while. But this is a video of these people in the jungle. And they, like I say, they had a run-in. And they had like a war with them, a battle with them. Guns shooting and everything else. So, and this guy's like steaming or something like that. This alien is like steam or something like that. Some kind of aura around him coming off of him. You can kind of see it from there. You know what? I have another hat to wear. Here we go. MUFON. Here we go. All right. Yeah. That's what people saw. You'd never forget that if you saw it. Gone. Boom. I don't know what happened there. I don't know what happened to it, but it maybe somebody threw a bucket of water on it or something like that, you know. Here's a cube. This is where the Borg live. That's a Star Trek thing if you don't know it. There's a close-up still image of it. It's a cube. It's a flying Rubik's Cube. And some alien kid dropped it out the transporter beam, and it's just there flying around because it has anti-gravity thing on it. I'm making that up. But there it is. Yeah, I know what that's about. They flashed this right here on the bottom. The USS Nimitz UFO encounter, UAP encounter. These guys out doing this training in their jet fighters are reporting that they're seeing a giant cube surrounded by this big bubble that it's in, this big transparent bubble that it's in. And they're like, how does something like that fly? They don't understand it. But that's why whoever put this up probably was thinking along the same lines. Yeah. This is from the Mexican Air Force. These are pilots. I think there was 2 of them. And they captured this on their FLIR, forward-looking infrared camera. When they, I've seen the whole video. When they switch it to regular video camera, there's nothing there. You can't pick it up with just a normal, there's a bunch of them back there. You can't pick them up with just your eyes or like a regular video camera. You have to use something that sees in a different light perspective, and that's why they're using infrared, forward-looking infrared. And that's when they showed up. I don't know how they knew they were there, unless maybe somebody had reported them and those 2 guys went out to investigate. That goes on for a while. Let's just watch and enjoy it, shall we? Could play some music. Let's play some music. There we go. How about this? It's good music, isn't it? I'm sounding the trumpet, people. Here they come. There's some more. Oh, yeah, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. And you know what? 9, 10. Here's the 10th one right here. What fascinates me is, if you just disregard all the naysayers and all the people who are not going to believe in UFOs, even if one landed in their, this is one of my favorites. I got to wait here. Even if one landed in their yard, they'd run out with a shotgun and say, "Get off my grass!" If we disregard all the people who want to make fun and mock and talk about little green men and how you belong in a loony bin and all that stuff, you take one look at these. If you ever see one, it's like your life would be different from that point forward. Because whether you try to suppress it and keep it down hidden and never talk about it, or you start telling people about it, you're never, ever going to forget that event. Nobody would ever say if you ask them, did you see that UFO that was in your backyard the other night? Did you see that? Well, I don't remember what I was doing a couple nights ago. To be honest with you, nobody would say that. Because if they saw it, they would know exactly what day you were talking about and exactly the circumstances, because it just changes your perspective of everything that you thought was right. This is why I want to get this subject out in amongst brethren in Christ, so that the devil doesn't use this whole phenomenon as a way to destroy people's faith in God, Jesus Christ, and the Bible. That's big with me, is that I want people to believe what's in the book. And if they have it in their mind that these aliens, there's nothing to it, these are just misidentified stuff flying around in the air. We probably got all kinds of stuff you would say are UFOs that they're not going to tell us about. I mean, you can poke fun at it. You can mock the people. You can disregard us. We may lose friends over it. But I'm trying, I think led by the Lord, to show this subject and this phenomenon is not made up. It is real, and it's in the Bible. And once people discover it in the scriptures, then hopefully they could say, you know what, that sounds about right to me. That's what I think. But I think people get maybe the wrong impression because some of them don't hear me out on it. If I don't come right out and say, and make it simple and say, oh, these aliens, UFOs, that's all demons anyway. And I just don't think we ought to pay much attention to demons. Well, now listen. Yes, they are devils. But to ignore them doesn't make devils go away. Has that ever worked for you? It's never worked for me. You don't make devils go away by ignoring them. If you ignore them, they're liable to build a nest in your heart and pretty soon take over. This one is awesome. I've seen photographs of something similar to this. Very clear, vivid photographs. But look at the beam coming out of this thing. Look at that. That's crazy. I'm wondering, what are they looking for? What are they scanning? I mean, is that Sulu up there doing that? Or Spock? Or C-3PO? But what are they scanning for? Man. You see the way that little one's moving back and forth? I mean, it just goes swish, swish. There it goes. It's gone. You think the rapture is going to take a long time to happen? Nah. As quickly as that, look at it. As quickly as that thing, in fact, faster than that. That's how fast we're going to be translated, people. No time whatsoever for you to just play around with God until you start seeing things line up and they'll say, okay, then I'll get saved. God may put a blind over your mind and your eyes so that you don't ever see the truth. He may do that. I wouldn't want to be you if that happened. This one sends down a beam too. And I haven't decided if this one is CG or not. I don't think it's AI. And the difference is, if it's CGI, computer generated image, this is the last one. And this one's from like 2007. That was quite a while ago. What was I going to say a while ago? Oh, the difference between CGI and AI. CGI is what a person does. He sits down and he's using After Effects, and he's using Blender. He's using some of these production things, these video things, where you can build all kinds of backgrounds. You can animate people and make them look as real, and make it look very, very convincing. You'd be amazed at how many TV shows that you watch. I was watching a little documentary the other day about this TV show. It's gone off the air, but it was The Mentalist with Simon, I can't remember his last name. But anyway, they were showing that the reason why they were successful as a TV show is because they stayed under their budget. And they did that instead of having the actors go out and film against in various areas. They just set up a studio, put a blue screen there, put a few things for them to interact with, but the rest of it was computer generated. I mean, it's that good now. So that's computer generated. That's CGI. AI is when you just sit down and type in to a prompt and say, make me a 30-second video of this triangular UFO hovering over a mountain and sending down a beam to beam up somebody up into the ship. You just type that in, and wham, in 30 seconds. And here's what really gets me. When you see what AI does with that, and it makes its video, if you want it to be different, type it in again, exactly that way, and when it makes you a new one, it'll be different than the first one. You know what that shows? To me, it shows imagination. It tells me that the artificial intelligence, it imagines what it wants to draw, and then it draws it. That's a human trait, people. Imagination is. That's a human trait. And I never thought I'd see that day. All right, now, let's do this. Let me read to you. I'm going to show you why I'm talking about all this. This is John Mack's book, Abduction. This is what he almost got fired over at Harvard. I was telling people that all of these abductees that he talks about in this book, every single one of them, were told two things. Number one, that one of the reasons why they're there is because the aliens need to join with human beings and create a hybrid race for them to survive, for the aliens to survive and for the humans to survive. Now remember, the aliens lie. They lie. You can't believe what they say. But when I think about it, and I don't have an answer yet, but why is it that devils need or want a human body or otherwise to dwell in? And people say, well, you know, they have to have a human to live in. I mean, that's how they have to have it. I haven't seen that verse yet. So I'm not convinced with just that answer. I want to know why. What is it about them that God made them this certain way to want to inhabit the temple of a human, the body temple? Why is it that they are going to mingle themselves with man's DNA? We know what the prophecy said. We know what Daniel interpreted the dream as. And it's 100% dead on. But why? Why are they going to do this? And that's an answer I don't have yet. If I get it, You can rest assured I'm going to spray it all over the world, okay? Anyway, the second thing is all of these people were turned into environmentalists, every one of them, because the aliens showed them in their brains images of the earth burning up. You know what I didn't play for you? I got to play this. Hang on a second. Let me get rid of this. I got to play this video. Right here. This is...
What I did, the world's gonna end. Maybe they're telling us the world's gonna end.
Listen to her. The world's going to end. They're telling us the world's going to end. Watch this.
What I thought was maybe the world's gonna end. Maybe they're telling us the world's gonna end.
This is the aerial school.
Why do you think they might want?
In Zimbabwe? 1993, I think, is when this happened. 95, somewhere around in there. And John Mack flew to Zimbabwe with a camera crew and interviewed these kids. Have them draw out what they saw and have them talk about what they saw. And they all said the same thing, that these aliens put stuff in their brains.
Because maybe because we don't look after the planet and the area properly.
Mm-hmm. And let me. Is this an idea that you have had before, that we don't look after the planet properly in the air, or did this idea come to you when you had this experience?
When I had this experience.
Mm-hmm. And how did that idea come to you from this experience? This is a little hard, but try to be with me here, okay? How did this idea come to you when you had this experience?
I just felt all horrible inside.
You felt horrible. At what point did you feel that? When you saw the craft, or when you got home at night? Or
when I got home.
You had that horrible feeling when you got home?
Yes.
And say more about that horrible feeling, Lisa. What was it like?
It was like in the world, all the trees will just go down and there will be no air and people will be dying.
Mm-hmm. And those thoughts came to you, had you had those thoughts before this experience?
No.
No. And how did those thoughts come to you? Did they come to you from the craft or from...
From the man.
The man. And did the man say those things to you? How did he get that across to you?
Well, he never said anything. It's just that the face is the eyes.
What was the sense you got from those eyes?
He was interested.
Wow. Now, this is why John Mack went over there to research these kids. I'll show you. This is from John Mack's book, Abducted. I asked if he was given any information about whether it was still possible to prevent the cataclysm. Consider that, people, the cataclysm. No, he said. There are not enough. Too few will listen, but those who will listen and can work with the laws of nature will survive to teach others on the other side, who then will listen and say, oh, geez, we were screwed, eh? We were screwed up back then, eh? I expressed my lack of clarity as to whether he meant cataclysm in a literal, physical, or metaphoric sense. He said there would be a series of geological, earthquake, meteorological, fire and signs, convulsions. Finding this all rather depressing, I asked how this information about spirits would help him or anyone else survive. Undeterred, he said that the spirits of the earth will make safe havens for those who survive. I wondered what was the use if everything was going to be destroyed. He said that it was more a reconstitution, not just destruction, a rebalancing. And repeated that humans have to learn how to work on this planet with the laws of nature and not plunder the earth, to use the raw materials in the way they should be used. Then the earth will rebalance itself. People, let me just express a thought here. There is a spirit that I think is related to this earth, this world, this planet. And she does not like the fact that God gave man dominion over her. She doesn't like that. Maybe her name was Jezebel. And she doesn't like it that Naboth has biblical control over what happens to his vineyard. She doesn't like that. So she says, Ahab, don't worry. I will get that vineyard for you. And you can clearly see then that the nature of this feminine harlot spirit is to transfer the dominion over earth from man to Satan. That's who Ahab is in this story. They go on to say a new choice seemed to be developing now, something else. Peter said as he re-experienced being led down a hallway where they're going to show me things. As he walked down the hallway, Peter was shown pictures on either side. He saw nuclear explosions, sections of Europe and the United States destroyed, a lot of people burned, a lot of people upset, the human race changing its form. There's another one. Oh my goodness. And texture. Peter and the woman and the thousands of babies they had produced together were part of that change, of the repopulation of the earth. I asked Peter why this repopulation was necessary. He said, because of the destruction of the earth, because of what's happening and what's going to happen. And I submit to you that what these people are really talking about is exactly what we just read out of Matthew, Leviticus, Revelation. It's exactly what they're talking about. The book of Acts chapter 2, all of those things that the aliens, the kids, the poor kids at Ariel School, I mean, they didn't ask for this. But when these things came down in that ship and they came out, these girls would say that when they made eye contact with one of those aliens, that as soon as they did, they were getting ideas and like little films beamed into their brain by that alien's eyes. And it was hard to look away. They were like captured by it. What were they showing them? They were showing them what they wanted them to see. That man is going to just destroy this planet, and we're here to help you stop it. We want you as a little girl and little boys all to grow up to be Captain Planets and save the earth. Save the earth. I asked Peter to say more about that. He said that there was a battle going on over who was going to get control of the earth. Between beings from all over the universe, not only the beings I'm associated with. This has been going on for perhaps 2,000 years. Are you listening to that? What happened 2,000 years ago? The devil got his backside handed to him by a man on the cross. This has been going on for perhaps 2,000 years. He said, but was now all coming to a head. It was not quite the same as good and bad, Peter explained, but rather different possibilities of going forward. The whole reproduction process in which he was participating was playing an integral part in this unfolding. Peter spoke of prophecy, revelations, and people taken up, as in biblical raptures. Come on. Let me throw something out there to you. God's version is, the dead in Christ rise first, then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, so shall we ever be with the Lord. The angels will be sent from one end of heaven to the other, and shall gather together his elect. So we get to go up in our angel chariots to meet Jesus in the air. Now flip that over on the devil's side. Let's say that they have an alternative version of that, where they will say to mankind, we can transplant you off of this world, listen to this, to a better world. Like Jezebel saying, or Ahab promising Naboth, I'll give you a better vineyard. And Naboth's got to be thinking, if it was better, then why is he trying to pawn it off on me? Why is he trying to trade my really good vineyard for his cheap piece of property? Okay? I think there is an alternative plan to the rapture. It is the devil's plan. It will involve these aliens, these ships, these chariots. It will involve them. Peter's role in all this was to make the babies with the alien human female with whom he has been connected, to bring the whole process into consciousness and to work with the female in, quote, taking care of the kids. He would become a leader of a new original tribe, a new race of humans. Come on. A new race of humans. That is exactly Daniel chapter 2. Although Peter said he had accepted the repopulation plan, he found all this quite disturbing, especially the destruction of the populations of the earth, which will happen. Look at how he says it. I'm going to underline this for you. In the blink of an eye. What happened here? You can't have a black ink. There we go. In the blink of an eye. They're reading right out of the Bible and jumbling it up a little bit so it's not recognizable. Though nothing could be done to prevent all this, Peter said on the positive side, this evolutionary process could create a second chance for humankind. No, it's going to make you a two-folded child of hell is what it's going to make you. You have an offer of a second chance through the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's our offer of a second chance, to be born again, not of corruptible seed, but of incorruptible, by the word of God, which liveth and abideth forever. Hallelujah. Second chance, the hybrid tribe, he said, would come down like sections of people to be placed in various areas of the earth, basically an advanced, transplanted population. With knowledge from another world, prepared to start new life, a whole system would be transplanted. I asked him about the fate of us, original humans. A lot of humans would be left, he said, but plagues, pestilences, that's Leviticus 26, and all this stuff would destroy the infrastructure of the civilization of man as it is today. The entire society would crumble. In a telephone conversation with Pam 3 weeks after the regression, Peter said that he was upset afterwards for a while, especially because he felt so isolated with his information about the earth ending. Nobody wants to know about that, he said, but he continued to experience the evolutionary process he had seen in the regression with aliens and hybrids coming down to earth as very real. Peter continued to experience intense new healing energies, which he related to his connection with the alien beings, and found he was able to transmit this energy helpfully to other people. I got something to say about that. Years ago, when I was getting to the point where I was going to have my shoulder operated on. I was at a church. It wasn't here at Bethel. Wasn't in Missouri anywhere, but I was at a church, and I had mentioned, I asked everybody to pray for me because when I, get back home, I'm going to have my shoulder operated on. This very kind couple, older couple, came to me with good intention, and they said, "Oh, Pastor, don't let them butcher you." Well, I wasn't going to let them butcher me. I was going to let a skilled surgeon use his tools and his talent to reattach the tendons that have broke loose on my right arm. They said, we've got some things that we have found. We buy it off the internet. We buy it in bulk because we take it every day. And what it does, it restores your body's natural healing energies. And when they said that, I stopped them. And I said, let me ask you a question. Where does the Bible mention these natural healing energies? Where is that? And they said, well, God doesn't want us sick. And I said, where is that? I said, if you can show me that my body has healing energies that are trapped by my consciousness, not accepting their reality, I would be glad to see it and alter my views accordingly. But until you show it to me in Scripture, I'm not buying in this stuff. People, beware. I know some of you out there, you try to eat good, try to put healthy things in your body, and I'm all for that. But be careful of some of these people that you're buying this stuff from. Watch out for them. And I'm not worried about you getting poisoned by food or anything like that, but I'm worried about is you falling for some new age junk that has no basis in reality whatsoever, and then end up believing a strong delusion. Let's see here. In the seventh session in April 1993, Peter experienced the collapse of past, present, and future and felt that his consciousness could transcend his body. We explored further the mixture of human and alien and hybrid beings that he felt would manifest on the earth after the changes that were to come. Beyond the destruction, he had a vision of a kind of new millennium, a future golden age of openness and learning. In addition to his apparent role in breeding for this step in evolution, Peter felt he was receiving a gift of special energy from the alien source that, as a healer, he could transmit to others toward changing their biological vibrations and enabling them to move through the veil into another future. You know what that sounds like to me? Sounds like Kenneth Hagin, Kenneth Copeland, Rodney Howard-Browne, and these others who they believe that they have this healing power in their touch. They have this special energy from God, and that they can touch people and give them that same gift of healing that they have, or a gift in becoming millionaires. Okay? I got to go. Man, it's running late here. But anyway, people, my goodness. The very agenda that these aliens, these devils have, I'll tell you what it is. They're scared. They're scared. They know what God's going to pour out in the last days. They got to know it. I mean, here it is written right here. And unless God doesn't let them see it, which is possible, God said that Satan in Ezekiel 28 was wiser than Daniel. So the devil knows his time is short, right? I mean, they gotta know that this stuff in the Bible about pestilences and earthquakes and fire and the water going bad and people dying, they gotta know that stuff comes right out of the Word of God. And so I think the aliens are telling the humans, hey, we got to work together here if we're going to survive this thing. Maybe these devils think that if they attach themselves to humans in their soul, that maybe they won't get the punishment that they're supposed to get in the last days. I don't know. But there's some reason why these devils are trying to convince these people, man, you got to come over to our side, because we're going to work on this thing together, and we're going to cheat it, man. We're not going to let the New World Order and the Illuminati and the universe make us go away. We're going to live. We're going to survive. Okay? Apocalypse. Everybody's talking about the apocalypse. All right, I got to go. I love you. You're the reason why we do what we do here. I hope you like it. All right, we'll see you tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Or you'll see me, maybe.